there's some vintage action figures.
They're very stiff.
Well worn. Action figures usually get loose.
Played with a lot when I was a boy. My father used to go to China, and every time he came back, he'd buy me something in a toy store and say it was from China. It was cute.
That sounded a bit grim.
No,
that sounded like a story the Joker would tell.
No, it was really nice. He would bring me back toys from his travels,
but they weren't.
They weren't Chinese toys.
Well,
like he said, they were. They were made in China.
Yeah, this was almost certainly made in China. Doesn't say Kenner.
Kenner was the company that used to make them.
Don't you tell me who makes toys.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music, so someone will probably make one up for us. I don't want to name any. Rachel. I hope it's Rachel that does that for the podcast.
Or Brian. Brian is another friend who does music.
Who also does music.
Yeah. So, Brian, just saying, Rachel has let us down.
Does Brian listen to the podcast?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did he tell you he listens to the podcast, or does he actually listen to the podcast?
He has accidentally, in conversation, said things to me from the podcast.
What a fool.
Now we
know he listens.
Anyway, we're back in the tiny room. I'm Mick, again, as usual, and I'm here with Ben.
Hi.
As usual.
Usual.
After our brief hiatus.
It's a 5 and break hiatus. Well, no, it's a 6 and break hiatus.
Is that what we're doing?
I think that's what we agreed on. It's certainly the way it's been working out.
It's Ben's brain refresh week.
Yes, it's good. It's been very, very fruitful.
Ben, let's go. What are we doing? What are we talking about?
So, Michael, I have news.
What's your news?
I've seen a current movie.
Yeah!
I have.
It's
very topical.
Is it Guardians of the
Galaxy?
Galaxy?
It's Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Am I on time? Did I? No.
You still haven't seen that, have you?
I still haven't seen that one. No, but the film I have seen is Spiderman Homecoming.
Hooray!
Huzzah! Which is very impressive for me.
Yes.
It came out last week, and I saw it in that same week.
That's incredible.
It's after opening weekend, admittedly, so I wasn't like right on the beat, but I was there on the Tuesday.
It came out on Wednesday.
It came out on the Wednesday. I was there the following Tuesday,
which is still inside
the first Tuesday of its run.
Ben, when did you see Spider-Man? First Tuesday it was out. Flawless logic. No one could ever deny it. What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
I thought it was really good.
It's very good.
I'm pleasantly wrong in every...
Oh, did you think it was...
I remember we had our little prediction session. I thought it was going to be quite bad.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
But I thought it was very clever.
It's very good.
Very well done. Michael Keaton.
Oh,
he's great. Love Michael Keaton. That big snarl. Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Although, let's say semi-spoilers.
Semi-spoilers. Yeah, we're going to have some spoilers.
We'll spoil things, but we'll only spoil things that happen in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's threatening Peter...
Yeah.
And they're both out of costume, let's say.
In the alter ego point.
Exactly. I couldn't understand why Peter was intimidated. Because both naked... Not naked. He doesn't get naked with a teenage boy. That doesn't happen.
Out of costume.
He just punch him in the head and kill him. Just one punch.
Spider-Man, with or without the costume, has the proportionate strength and ability of a spider.
Right.
The Vulture, out of costume, has nothing.
No, he's just an old guy.
An old, like he's 60.
66, 67?
Yeah, he's up there. Like
his special powers seem to be wispy white hair.
No, he had a gun.
He did, but I mean, Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man.
He's taken on guns quite a few times in that show.
It's good though. It's a good film.
Yeah, it's awesome. There's some great cameos from people you don't expect. I can't spoil any. Well,
do a hand signal. That doesn't make any sense. Spider-Man web hand.
Hey, don't do that. Don't leave me here. You're a criminal. You deserve this.
Mark Wahlberg?
No, it's not Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, he's in the trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, Donald Glover is in the film, and that's quite significant because he was tipped to play the Black Spider-Man.
Oh, I don't know if you can call him that.
You absolutely can.
That's a
It
name.
was Donald Glover for Black Spider-Man was the name of the Twitter campaign that tried to bring him, and it's to do with the Latino Black Spider-Man in the Ultimate verse, Miles Morales. Yeah. And they wanted Donald Glover to play him,
and
he gets a little cameo
in the movie he says, "I have a nephew in this neighborhood."
Oh,
see,
you're much cleverer than I am.
See,
you're much cleverer now.
so that's obviously setting up Miles for the future.
But overall, nice, really good movie.
Yeah.
The love interest is interesting. A little bit of subversion going on there again.
Little bit.
I did think there were some silly parts.
There are. It's not a flawless.
It's
film.
not a flawless film, but it's awfully good.
Yes.
Best one they've put out since Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah. Let's play a game. Better than. I think it's the only one they put out since Captain America.
No, it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but you haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Oh, is it better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Okay, about the same. Better than Ant-Man.
Better than Ant-Man. Better than Doctor Strange. Better than any other character's first movie.
I would say it is definitely better than any other first character. It's quite funny.
Yeah, better than both Thors. Better than
both Thors.
Easily.
Easy.
Better than Hulk. Better than most of them. But just
it's a fair agreement.
It's like an all-round. It's a good time.
It's a great time for everyone, isn't it?
Like Spider-Man.
There's a couple of jokes in there for the adults. There's a few in there for the kids. It's great.
It's a great time.
The Death Star.
We'll talk about it more another time.
Yeah,
we can do spoilers.
One of my favourite things though is that Disney just works all its franchises in multiple times now.
So you have
like
the
we've
Star
got
Wars
Spider-Man,
action
but it's like a Death Star, the Star Wars action. Oh, we can say that because we own
say Star Wars.
everything.
But it's nice in a sense because remember in Civil War he said, "Hey, although would he, if he was such a big Star Wars fan, which he clearly is, he has Star Wars action figures and the Death Star and stuff. Would he have said, hey guys, do you remember that really old movie?" Instead of, do you remember Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, there's a bit of inconsistency there. Continuity.
I don't like it anymore.
Continuity error. Fail.
I've gone off it.
Neckbeard's Revenge.
It's a shit film.
Cast out.
Let's move on.
Moving on from there. Speaking of Star Wars, Mick,
what?
How do you feel about the new Star Wars that's going to be coming out?
Take it or leave it.
Moving on.
No, look. It's what's the Disney Expo called? D23?
Is that what it is?
Why is it called D23
It's
though?
the 23rd Disney Expo?
Is it?
I don't know.
It might be.
It sounds like
something. It
sounds like something else though.
Sounds like something someone who has a podcast should have researched before deciding to bring it up. Look, they did some Star Wars reveals. There's a certain kind of you have to question yourself when you're doing a pop culture podcast, and there's no Star Wars guy. We don't have a Star Wars doesn't speak to me.
It doesn't resonate to me in any way.
I think
it's a bit late for me.
Right?
Yeah.
You see, I was born. Do I want to say what year? I was born in 1982.
Okay.
So, as far as I'm concerned, too young for the original trilogy.
Fair.
Then Phantom Menace came out in 1999.
I think so. Yeah, just before the new millennium.
Right. I was 17.
17.
I hated everything.
But also, that movie is not great.
It's garbage, but that doesn't matter because kids now who saw that when they were 5 or 6, weren't you about 5 or 6 when that came out?
Yeah, it was.
But you didn't like it?
No, it was. So, I never liked Star Wars because my uncle was a huge Star Wars fan when it came out. Like, it defined things for him. My brother really liked it, and he watched them on repeat.
Oh no!
So they were drummed into me unfairly,
like the Goonies.
Like the Goonies. Ugh. Anything by George Lucas, apart from Indiana Jones. Sorry, I take that back. Indiana Jones is awesome.
Indiana Jones is pretty good.
It's awesome. Speaking of, by the way, I hadn't noticed. I was going to take a strategic sip from my Star Wars coffee mug that you gave me.
I didn't notice that it was a Star Wars. That's well done, Ben. That's good for radio.
That's a Star Wars slurp, is what that is.
Yeah, look, it's the same for me. When I was a kid, I liked Star Trek, so there's a little bit of confirmation bias there. Because I decided when I was a kid I liked Star Trek, and then it was always.
And that was it. Yeah, we were never gonna deviate from that.
Like I don't really like Star Trek anymore. I don't like the new Star Treks very much. But
the new Star Treks are very J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
I have no time for them.
Look, but I've seen every Star Wars multiple times. We're going to go see The Last Jedi on opening day, probably.
Well, you are an opening day fan.
I'm an opening day guy.
I'll see it 8 months later at my own leisure. My own leisure.
Just in time for the podcast.
Just in time for the podcast.
But at the D23 thing, more in my wheelhouse, there were a couple of Avengers reveals.
Ooh, Avengers
reveals. Did you see the Avengers reveals?
I have not seen. I saw the poster of the whole cast.
Yeah, well, they got them all out on stage, but I mean, there's only so many celebrities. They've done the whole cast on stage so many times now. It's like
it's not a big deal.
Now there's even more. And Chris Evans was notable by his absence.
Ooh. Was he missing?
Yeah, Chris Evans wasn't there. But
was he working on another passion project where he plays it down on his look, working class guy trying to protect someone?
Or spending a lot of time sending out liberal tweets on Twitter.
Ooh, what did he tweet?
He's very political.
Oh, is he?
Very anti-Trump.
Fuck's sake, Captain America. We support the Commander-in-Chief.
I don't know.
We here at the podcast support Chris Evans, but Captain America, shame on you.
Do we support Trump?
No, we here support Chris Evans.
Okay.
In his vendetta against Donald Trump.
Well, look, very professionally, I'm going to show you on my phone because I know you haven't seen this.
That's fair.
I'm going to show you what was revealed, and they basically revealed the character designs for the bad guys.
Oh, that's quite cool.
There they are. Look.
Okay, so
we've got a skinny guy, a lady,
Thanos,
an even skinnier guy, and then a Rocky Hulk.
He looks like Abomination in a different form.
It's
kind of like Space Abomination.
So,
Spomomination.
Jonathan Hickman, right? Yeah. Look,
you have an issue with Jonathan Hickman.
He's a dope. No, he's fine. I
like Jonathan Hickman.
I think he's a very good writer.
I think he is a very good writer.
But he's not a very good... Every story he writes, he basically writes in his own characters. And
he creates new things all the time.
Yeah,
he does
and
that.
The starring characters, the mainstays get kind of backgrounded.
Yeah.
So these guys, for example, these 6, there were 6 originally, but there seems to only be 5. These guys are called the Black Order.
Oh, cool.
And they're Thanos' henchmen, essentially.
His royal guard, so to speak.
Yeah. Although they were introduced at Disney as Thanos' children. So I think they're kind of come from the same program as Gamora and Nebula. So they're basically his elite, right?
Okay.
So we'll stick this picture up, but you can find it yourself. Look up Black Order, Thanos, Disney.
Character designs.
So we have Corvus Glaive.
I'm so glad you know the names of all these things.
Corvus Glaive is... you see, they're all kind of vaguely non-specifically badass. So he's very strong and fast, and he seems to some degree invulnerable. But he has this blade, and this blade can slice through atoms.
Oh, these seem very like the Heralds of Galactus.
In a sense,
the different ones.
Yeah.
Like he has the one that comes after the Silver Surfer. He has the
Firelord,
yeah, and he has the atom. He has the atom slicing axe.
Oh no, that's Terax.
Terax, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Terax the Destroyer.
Terax, the terrible
Terax the Destroyer, I think.
Is it Drax the Destroyer?
No, that's Drax the Destroyer, but I think he was also Terax the Destroyer.
Was he?
It was a confusing time.
Anyway,
maybe
so he's immortal as long as he has that blade.
Oh, so naturally. Oh, can I take a quick guess for how that goes? Captain America's going to block it with the shield and then take him out.
No, he can cut his shield. Cut anything.
Oh crap!
Cut Hulk's skin.
Oh, okay.
Cut anything. So this lady here, she's his wife. She's
but they're siblings.
No, they're not siblings. Gamora and Nebula aren't siblings.
But they're all from Thanos. Oh, it's from his it's
children,
a scheme.
In a sense, he kidnaps them and brainwashes them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So she is also kind of non-determinedly strong and fast and super strong and super everything. But she has this staff, and this shoots a trident of black light that can't be avoided.
Oh, very dark side.
Yeah. Like it goes...
Yeah.
Then Thanos is Thanos. This guy's Ebony Maw. I think this is the one who Nige is going to play.
Nige, by the way, for anyone listening outside of Ireland, there is a fantastic gritty crime drama here in Dublin called Love Hate.
My friend was in it.
Mick's friend was in it.
My friend Robbie.
This is new to me. And in it we explore the dangerous world of Dublin criminals. And Nidge, he talks like this,
So, right, Nidge is playing this guy. And this guy's superpower, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is a...
This guy's superpower is his voice. He has the kind of suggestive voice. Like Preacher, or like someone else who does that.
Zebediah Kilgrave, but it's not...
Kilgrave,
it's not Zebediah Kilgrave in the Netflix series. It is that in the comics, but he's just called Kilgrave in Netflix.
So he has that power. So imagine doing that, but with Nidge's voice. Yeah?
You'll put that down, yeah?
Give me that Infinity Stone, yeah?
Give that there, yeah? If you ever try to take that Infinity Stone from me again, I will personally spray paint your face with acid, yeah?
It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
And then this guy...
Can I take another pitch on how we beat that guy? We shot the last one down.
Go on.
Kilgrave is going to be resurrected from the Netflix series and they're going to use him. It's going to be a voice-off.
Well, this guy in the comics, he does the magic voice on Doctor Strange. Ooh. So he's top tier.
He's
the scariest of the Black Order.
Yeah, he's going to be psychological.
And then this guy... Oh, I forgot his name. You see, in the comics, they were called the Black Order or the Cull Obsidian, which I think is a cool name.
Cull Obsidian is kind of cool. That's Hickman's deal, though. He does high sci-fi. He does high science fiction. Yeah. Like, he builds worlds and he creates the whole scope, and he really likes it. He's not a man for breadcrumbs.
No.
He's not a man for breadcrumbs, and I like that about him, but it does get very difficult with Marvel stuff, because they have a whole canon they can draw from. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily have to create a brand new world every time you do something Fantastic Four Councillor Reeds.
So, this guy was called Black Dwarf, but in this, they seem to have renamed him Cull Obsidian.
Because Dwarf is quite insensitive.
Yeah, Black Dwarf. There's a risk there that could... Anyway, he gets humiliated in the comics. He leads when they come to get the Infinity Stones, he's the one who goes after Black Panther's Infinity Stones. And that doesn't end well.
Well, Black Panther's very intelligent.
He gets a thorough arse kicking.
A thorough?
Ass kicking.
Anyway,
that's them. So it's pretty exciting. I think the most exciting thing is if Nidge is Ebony Maw. That'll be wonderful. We'll get a whole Irishman in Space episode out of that.
Because there is, I think you might be onto something there, because if he does use his voice on Stephen Strange in the comics, the reveal of that this week was you can see Nidge in the Mog suit, what's it
Mocap?
called? Mocap suit, that's the one, thank you. And he's leaning over Benedict Cumberbuns.
Oh!
Yeah, he's leaning over Benedict Cumberbuns talking to him.
Isn't it?
So I would imagine that you're...
Yeah, give us that there, Steve.
Do you know what you have to do, yeah? Like, don't you worry, just take care of it for me, yeah? You head on down there to that field. I've left a little present for you in the field there, yeah? It's a gun, yeah? You just take that now and you get me that stone, yeah? Good boy.
Stephen Strange doesn't need guns. Anyway,
sorry, I was mixing the characters
together
for comedic effect. Other news than that, and rather interesting news this week, and more death knells for the Batman adaptation with Ben Affleck. Matt Reeves, the current director, has scrapped Ben Affleck's script.
Ben Affleck wrote the script?
Ben Affleck had done the rewrite.
Was it about Batman robbing a bank in Boston?
Yeah, and then losing his parents to poverty. And taking out some rubes.
Who was Mark Wahlberg rumoured to play in Affleck's version?
He was going to be the Penguin. He was going to be a really jacked Penguin.
Interesting on the spot choice.
Yeah,
I would have said Nightwing.
He was going to be the Penguin.
Oh, sorry, I'm giving you a little bit of footsie there. Sorry, Ben.
You're getting very excited about Mark Wahlberg as Nightwing. Batman, what are we going to do, Batman?
We're going to stop the Penguin, Batman. We're gotta... No pain, no gain. What am I saying? I'm just saying the names of Mark Wahlberg films.
Robin, you gotta use your sticks, Robin.
Anyway,
my boy's wicked smart.
So what's he gonna do?
So it's been scrapped and it's going back to the table. But this is more bad news for this Batman standalone, because
it's not gonna happen, is it?
We've lost the director. It was rumoured that Ben Affleck was only signing on if he got to do the script. So now if we scrap the script, what does that mean for Ben Affleck's contract?
Probably doesn't care anymore.
Because he was brought in to fix it. I don't think Ben Affleck wants to be in these after Superman versus Batman. I always remember that interview where someone dubbed over Darkness, Hello Darkness, my old friend, over the interview. And it's perfect. I don't think he wants to be in them anymore. I think he wants out.
Yeah. It'd be amazing if he joined Marvel and played
Cull Obsidian.
No.
2.
No. Someone Batman-y. What's the Marvel Batman analogue from Squadron Supreme called?
Oh, he's Nighthawk, yeah, I think is what he is.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And if they got Brandon Routh to play Hyperion.
Oh, that would be excellent.
And if they
totally am on board with that.
And if they got... Who else has been in like a... Adrian Padalecki. Is that her name? She was in the failed Wonder Woman pilot.
Really?
If they got her to play Power Woman.
So they just collect the DC Media crew.
Although she already plays Mockingbird, so that's cancel that idea.
Brandon Routh now plays the Atom.
Yeah, but the Atom is DC as well. Mockingbird is...
Oh, Mockingbird from the Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't do that. Darn it.
Dreams.
And the only last... well, there was no more. You did want to talk about Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, it's a lady!
Doctor Who, a lady.
Doctor Who,
this is news to me. I've been catching up on the last series. I quite like Doctor Who. I hate its inconsistencies, and I think Moffat is not as good as Russell T Davies. But
if you care about inconsistencies, you're watching the wrong show.
I know, but I hate that it breaks its own rules. Sci-fi should follow its own rules. But I still love the show because generally the actors that they choose to play the Doctor are quite entertaining in several ways.
I don't consider it sci-fi. It's sci-fi. Science fantasy.
Yes, because we do go back in time, we go backwards, forwards, in and around.
No, it's still fiction though. I need a better word. It's not really science, is it? It's just fantasy.
Quantum fantasy.
Yeah, it's
anyway. It's really magic. It follows the rule of thing. Anyway, back to Batman, because it got me thinking.
Yeah. Batman's a lady now.
Who is the lady, actually, for Doctor Who?
Oh no.
Who is she?
What's her name?
Oh no.
Jodie
Foster. The old page 3 girl. I'm going to look it up.
Jodie Whittingfield. She has the most English name I've ever heard.
Jodie Whittingfield.
Jerry
Halliwell.
Jerry Hatwood. No.
Jodie Whittaker.
Oh, that was pretty close.
You were pretty close. She's cool.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
She's got a very stern face, though, doesn't she?
Well, she's one of those. Oh, it's your one.
Yeah. No, you've seen her.
Mm-hmm.
That would be deadly. Okay, I'm quite looking forward to a female Doctor. There's an excellent thing here where
just
someone
cough, Ben.
took daily.
Just cough. The female Doctor. Never mind. Wasted.
You turned it into a fantasy. Anyway, it got me thinking
about Batman
and adaptations
and
how many incarnations Batman actually has and how many of them are successful and how many of them are not.
Oh, is your theory that Batman is like Doctor Who?
Well, there have been several theories like that over the years where there's like alternate Batmans and Batman creates like a continuity program for himself and there's clones in a tank and there's all kinds of he uses his own Lazarus pit. There's been all kinds of...
Robin is just a young clone of Batman.
That's been thrown... That's what the new Robin is. That's what Damian is.
Wayne.
He's a tube-grown...
Is he?
Batman hybrid.
I thought it was the old-fashioned...
No. It's old-fashioned insemination, but then he's been altered in utero. In
a vat.
She didn't actually carry him to term.
Well, she wouldn't.
Like a tradition. No, because Talia's an old...
She's an old gal. She's a ninja.
Yeah, she's an old gal, and you can't be skipping around rooftops 9 months in. But yeah, so he was actually removed and then tube-grown.
In Arrow, she's played by Michael Shanks' wife.
I really don't like that they just took all of Batman's backstory and gave it to Green Arrow.
It's Batman, but he's Green Arrow. That's what that show is.
That's garbage.
But that's a really crap title for a TV show. It's Batman, but it's Green Arrow. So they just call it Arrow.
But I really don't agree with all of that. I thought that was really stupid.
But look, it's popular.
I know, it's popular. I can't argue with it. Like, it's fine. People like it.
And probably a better representation of Talia al Ghul than bloody Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, you mean Marianne Cotillard?
Yeah. I was Talia al Ghul all along. When they were talking about me climbing out of the pit, it was me. Voila, I am out of the pit.
Very sorry to any French listeners that we just lost. But it got me thinking. And I am, as you know, Michael, a tremendous Batman fan.
An enormous Batman fan.
And the thing that actually got me into Batman was Batman the Animated Series. So today that's what we're going to talk about, Michael, because you and I have a difference of opinion on Batman the Animated Series.
Yes, but unlike with that... Oh, my friend Brian...
Real Brian or fake Brian?
Real Brian, the guy with the
Music Brian.
Music Brian.
Oh, okay.
He listened to our least popular episode, actually, Is Avengers Even Good? And midway through he stopped listening to go and watch it. And now he really hates you.
Oh, excellent. Good. It's always nice to be hated.
Sorry. So
why does he hate me?
His exact words were, "What's wrong with Ben?" Just what's wrong with him?
There's a few things wrong with me. I've got a cert on my wall. I have to show a medical card to people before I go in. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, difference of opinion. So unlike the whole Avengers thing, I don't per se dislike Batman the Animated Series.
Okay.
It didn't hit me in a formative period.
That's
first
fair.
of all. But neither did a lot of things I like as an adult. But I just find it very dull. It's just... I just find it a bit dull.
I understand.
It's a bit slow-paced.
It is very slow-paced.
For a cartoon.
It is very slow-paced for a cartoon.
It's a bit slow. It's a bit dark. It's a bit...
That's what I like about it.
That's what I didn't like about it.
So we're never going to change your mind.
No, we might change my mind, because you gave me some episodes to watch, and I watched them. I also looked up online what's the worst episode and watched that too, because I'm not having you influence me.
That's fair enough.
I know you're
That's fair. I did choose a what's what of
a smorgasbord of a good episode.
I chose some gems for
I don't know if we're going to talk about this. Do you want me to say something about the episodes you chose for me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something about the episode?
Yeah, sure.
Very little Batman in them.
That plays into why I like it.
Damn text message.
I was very excited, but that was not me vibrating. It was Mick's phone.
Very little Batman.
That is why I chose those episodes.
Oh.
Because I think it's very important that there's very little Batman in some of the best episodes. And thank you for walking me into section number 1, which is where all this comes from, where all this came from. So, the golden age of comics was the 1950s.
Disagree.
Is that not the agreed upon era for golden age comics?
No, I thought it was the 30s.
It's not the 30s to the 50s, isn't that whole...
Well, no, because they kind of disappeared after World War II.
That's true. It's true, they didn't sell enough stamps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll say the 1930s then. We'll go back.
Yeah.
And then they didn't really have a massive resurgence until the 1970s.
60s.
Well, it was the end of the 60s, early 70s. So I'm going to say the 1970s.
Okay, go on.
What did you get in the message?
Go on. No, I'm not. I'm checking up when was the golden age of comics.
Oh, okay, that's fair enough.
Oh, yeah, okay. From the golden age of comic books describes an era of American comic books from the late 1930s to circa 1950.
Okay, so I'm a little bit late.
A little bit.
But I was in the ballpark.
Hold on, let's do Silver Age.
Yeah, let's do Silver Age.
Now, I like the fact that the podcast has devolved to doing research on air.
On spot. On air research.
Silver Age is considered to cover the period 1956 to circa 1970.
Oh man, I'm just outside the window at the time.
You just missed it
Okay,
slightly.
so...
You're like a man pissing on a toilet seat.
You're just keep hitting everything
You're
else.
pissing on the toilet seat of comic trivia.
So, the Silver Age is considered to be awfully silly. Comics kind of moved from very strong war themes and patriotism themes to looser storylines influenced by the 60s and things like that, crazy colours, things like that. Mm-hmm. And none more so than Batman experienced this really strange period.
Camp Batman.
Camp Bat. Led largely by 1960s Batman starring Adam West. May he rest in peace.
Oh.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, damn you, Clooney.
For fuck's sake, Clooney, why are you still here? And congratulations on the twins.
Yeah.
But also, So a lot of that fed into the comics. Because it was so successful as a TV series, they felt that this camp tone would work very well in the comics.
Well, that always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, but didn't really. It got very, very silly. Mm-hmm. So this led to a huge push in crazy storylines, weird costumes, like Zebra Batman and Rainbow Batman. And then it's basically what Grant Morrison has used to fuel his career ever since. Whenever he wants to do something strange, he takes something from the Silver Age Batman and he makes it dark.
Yeah, that's what he does.
So there was a famous Zur-En Ra Batman in the 1960s period, where Batman traveled to an alternate dimension, met an alternate dimension version of himself that was super strong and kind of Supermanish, and it turns out when Grant Morrison got his Scottish mitts on it, that it became his default personality if his mind was taken over by somebody else. So it was his backdoor personality that allowed him to still operate as Batman. So that's what it became. Yeah, it was in the Batman R.I.P. storyline.
That's bizarre.
So yeah, this is what Grant Morrison does. He goes back to the Silver Age, he takes things and he works them into the modern canon.
Makes them creepy.
Yeah, he kind of creeps them out. So that's what he does. And so the 1970s, that was Ed.
Can you hear Ed?
I hope that came up on the podcast. Ed is meowing outside the door.
Hold on, just be quiet for a second. Let's see if we can hear him. Hey, Ed. That was you.
That was me. but I was trying to get him to mew back. But what happened then was the 1970s came along and comics started to get a little bit darker overall. The silly tone kind of left and two guys took over the Batman run, and they were Neil Adams and Dennis O'Neil.
Legends,
especially in terms of Batman, but for many of DC's characters, they also took over Green Arrow and Green Lantern, and they introduced a lot of big social issues into comics: drugs, actual crime affecting the city. Ed is just outside the door mewing away. So this episode is brought to you by cats mewing for attention.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to listen. It's quite relaxing. Should we let him in?
Let him in.
And should we? Okay. There's going to be a little bit of background noise, but we're going to let Ed in.
Come on, Ed. You coming in?
Hello.
Just leave the door open.
Okay, we're just going to leave the door open so that the sound may be a little bit off.
But look, it'll be worth it if there's a cat.
It'll be worth it if there's a cat in the room.
Oh, there's also a nice breeze.
It is quite nice. The tiny room is sweaty today. So, sorry. Yeah, so they started to introduce these things, and when Dennis O'Neil was actually asked about it, he said that the aim of Batman... Wow.
Ed loves Batman.
Ed loves Batman. Like another cat in the Batman canon.
Yeah,
Catwoman. And he said that the aim of his run with Neil Adams was to take it back to where it started. That he was a vigilante because the original Batman was quite dark. He was just a guy who ran around with a gun and shot criminals.
Yeah.
So they were taking it back to that darker tone, that avenging kind of thing. And then naturally that actually took over the whole tone of Batman, and he became the Dark Knight as the years went by. This all culminated in 1989's Batman by Tim Burton.
Great movie.
Fantastic Batman adaptation.
Remember what you were saying earlier about the animated series was your introduction?
Yes.
This was my introduction.
Yeah, very good.
This is Batman to me. Michael Keaton will always be Batman.
Michael Keaton.
Except when he's
also the Vulture. He was great as the Vulture.
Yeah, he was.
That suit, that mech suit, man, was awesome.
Great.
I really loved the working class storyline as well. That was awesome. Anyway, moving back to where I was coming from. The Batman animated series actually takes all of the stuff from the 1989 version and kind of streamlines it and makes it into something else. So, I love a lot of things.
Let's close the door again.
He's so annoying.
Quiet, Ed.
Sorry, Ed. I'm just going to try and do that as silently as possible.
Oh, podcast professionalism.
Yeah, perfectly open door with a mewing cat. There are a lot of things that I love about Batman the Animated Series. One of them is the aesthetic that we just touched on. The aesthetic is completely 1950s noir.
Yeah.
From start to finish, it doesn't make any sense. There's future tech all over the place. But it really, again, comes back to that vigilante, stalking the city, dispensing justice
and Tim
kind
Burton,
of theme.
Tim Burton-y.
And Tim Burton's dark tone. I think it's famous for being done on black cells.
Yeah.
The whole thing is designed so it is by its very nature, completely dark and brooding.
Really noticeable as well.
Yeah, it's very dark. It borrows very heavily from the 1941 and 1942 Fleischer cartoons with Superman.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Of course I have.
They're a testament to fluid animation. If you watch them now, they're actually still some of the most fluid animations you'll ever see.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, they rotoscoped everything. That's how they did it. They introduced rotoscoping. Rotoscoping, sorry, is how you move frames while not moving the backgrounds and things like that. So they introduced
film actors as well.
Yeah, so it's the original thing, and they would take the frames from the auditions and the things like that, and they would draw over them.
Yeah,
so you have this really fluid movement.
The original mocap.
And they went for it was mocap 1.0.
Yeah.
And they would actually go for 60 frames. Which is human movement. Yeah, no, they put a lot of time and effort into the Fleischer cartoons, and it really shows.
60 frames a second is a lot of frames.
Yeah, it's a lot of frames. It's like human movement frame. Like they gave it a go.
Hold on.
I'm gonna check.
No, I'm taking issue. No, I'm not taking issue with saying that. I'm taking issue with you making the claim that humans move at 60 frames.
No, sorry. Sorry. We don't move at 60 frames a second. General film, cinematic film, is around that level of frames per second.
I don't think it is.
It's slowed down if you go to the cinema, but like normal recordings are a little bit more.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wasn't The Hobbit in 60 frames per second and everyone thought it looked weird?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Because people are used to the kind of treaclishness
The cinematic stuff.
of the cinematic speed of about 30 frames a second.
Is it 30 frames a second?
I don't know. It might be 45. But The Hobbit was faster than usual. And it gave it that kind of manic look.
That jolty kind of...
Yeah. That kind of...
I didn't know that. We'll have to check that out.
We'll check
that could be a retraction section.
That wasn't part of the podcast.
So, this is one thing that I really love. I love the Batmobile.
That's great.
I love the costume.
Mm-hmm.
I love that everything is Art Deco.
Hold on, which costume?
The original... okay, so to clarify that, the question that Mick is asking, for clarification on, is Season 1, 2 and 3 are traditional navy cape and Speedos over grey suit with traditional Batman symbol of yellow and black.
Right.
Taken very heavily from Tim Burton's Batman with the yellow and black symbol.
Yeah, but the Tim Burton Batman wasn't black, was black. But surely, I thought anyway that they had done that because if you made him all black,
he'd blend into his own background,
which would be kind of the point. In reality, if there was a Batman,
that would make a lot of sense. Gotham is very dark.
That's the whole point of Batman. Yeah. That's why he's black, and not the point of Moon Knight.
Not the point of Moon Knight.
The opposite.
Who
point.
likes people to see him coming?
Exactly.
Which is very naughty. So this is largely down to the show's chief animator, which is Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm and Paul Dini could be seen as the main creative force behind this. They pioneered the series in 1992, and
I was 10.
Coming into the 4th season of Batman, they wanted to reinvigorate it a little bit. And they created the new adventures of Batman and Robin, which is considered part of Batman the Animated Series, but a new edition. And you can see Bruce Timm's very recognisable style come to the fore.
Yeah, everyone looks different.
Justice League, I'm sure if anyone who's a fan of comics has seen the Justice League Animated Series,
it's great,
by Bruce Timm. It's fantastic. Anyone who's seen it has seen the Justice League Unlimited series,
even greater,
where all the male superheroes pretty much follow the same model sheet, all the female superheroes follow the same model sheet, but in various colours and nice designs. They're nice, simple, sleek, animated ways of doing things. He recently had a resurgence thanks to Justice League Gods and Monsters, where he did like an alternate reality version of Batman Superman of the Trinity. Anything Bruce Timm puts his hand to, he's usually a little bit dark, but really nice compared to a lot of the DC animated stuff that comes out.
These figures.
We have figurines.
Ben brought some action figures.
Sorry, these are action figures.
Ben brought some action figures
from my childhood,
and they're legit from his childhood. And they're 1993. I have some of these, but they're Bruce Timm. They're more Bruce Timm than this. Now looking at them, like those pecs on Batman are. I mean, they're not realistic, but they're much more realistic than the concrete slab on my one.
Yeah, they're the original season 1, 2 and 3 of the Batman animated series, everyone was still very human, and you could see Batman as kind of, I guess if you want to look at him as like a Victorian bodybuilder.
Yeah.
That's the way I think of it.
Yeah,
like he's very in shape.
Like a circus strongman.
Yeah, but he's not defined. Mm-hmm. But he's clearly very, very supple.
Like
very
Eric Allen Kramer.
In
Hercules of Thor.
Yeah, exactly. He's 80s ripped. Mm-hmm. And then
1880s ripped. Boom. Cancel podcast. We've hit joke perfection.
We've just peaked. And then the new Bruce Timm is very angular. Everything is sharp lines.
What happened to him?
He had an accident involving MC Escher, and everything got mixed up. But his new animated style is very sharp. Mm-hmm. But I like the original a lot more. I have nothing against the new one. I think you might prefer season 4. It's much faster paced.
Yeah, it's a little
bit sharper.
Well, here's the thing: the episodes you recommended for me, I didn't know which episode where they were from in the series. Mm-hmm. Other than some of them, Batman was more blue, and then some of them he was grey and black. And Joker was vastly different.
Yeah, they completely changed Joker.
Actually, did Joker voice there when I was saying vastly different, but Joker was vastly different.
Yeah, they changed him completely.
And the first one was better.
First one was better. It was way more Jack Nicholson Joker, mob boss Jack Nicholson. And then when he was revamped, they just give him a white face with black eyes, and then they revert to the original design in Justice League.
Oh, yeah,
he has yellow eyes and yellow teeth.
That's a better
so
design.
They go back, yeah.
The second version just has black eyes. He doesn't have pupils.
He has white pupils. He has white pupils. It's
weird. It's weird.
Too
design.
Inverted. Yeah, it's
but
not.
Then
great.
They didn't change Harley Quinn.
No, she stayed
the same.
She stayed. Harley Quinn remains. Harley Quinn actually comes from the Batman anime too. That's where she had her origin, and she's now one of their biggest characters.
You know what?
She's tremendous.
Stop me if I'm stepping on a bit.
Please do.
But in the episodes you send me, so will I read the names?
Sure.
There might be one person listening who's going to care which episodes I watched.
Just in case.
So here's the episodes I watched. Here's the episodes I watched. Hold on. I wrote this down. Hold on. I did write this down. I am a semi-professional podcaster.
Sure you are.
So I watched Almost Got Him.
Yep.
In which Batman villains retell the story of how they almost got Batman. Mm-hmm. And then I watched The Man Who Killed Batman, in which a nobody retells the story of how he almost killed Batman.
Wonderful.
And then I watched Over the Edge, which I didn't like. I hate It Was All a Dream.
Oh yeah, well that's fair. That's fair. The ending is terrible.
It Was All a Dream can take a hike. I watched Mad Love, which was a Harley Quinn origin story.
Classic.
Music for the podcast.
He listens to the podcast while he watches television.
Why did that happen?
Don't know. Don't know.
So, yeah, and I watched Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm. Awesome.
Oh, it's alright.
Oh, I hate you. So, the reason that I chose these episodes, Michael, what did you notice about all the episodes that I chose for you?
Well, we said already, I think we said that on the podcast, not just in conversation before.
Oh, we did? Sorry. No, I think we said it in conversation and we didn't say it in the podcast.
Oh, did we? Okay, I'll do it again.
Yeah, do it again.
There's very little Batman in them.
Exactly, Michael. Which brings me on to my second point, which leads on to where we came from in the 1970s. Maybe we did say it in the podcast.
I think we did.
I don't know. Anyway, we're repeating ourselves. It's fine. It's episode 12. We're running out of material. So, the 1960s through there introduced so many villains. Like hundreds of strange villains like Quilt Man and Spinner Top.
Shelving Unit Man.
Eggman.
Yeah.
Signal Man.
IKEA Detolf Display Case Man.
He's actually pretty good. He was a Swedish carpenter whose family was murdered by superheroes.
Iwata Airjet Air Compressor Man.
Yeah, his origin story wasn't so good. His family actually died in a freak spray painting accident, and he donned the symbol of his fear so that he could.
He does have I'm just saying the things that are sitting around
in the room.
Tiny room. He did have a giant dinosaur.
He did have a giant dinosaur. There's a giant dinosaur in the room next to Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Mjolnir has a giant dinosaur for company.
The Bitosaurus.
Star Sapphire? Is that Star Sapphire?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. What's she doing next to Drax and Captain America?
Look, things are weird. Things fell. Thor lost his head.
Aww.
The super glue it back on. He has a stiff neck now.
Oh crap. That's tragedy.
Yeah.
Star Sapphire's alright though. Big boobs on that action figure.
Yeah, lots of action figures have big boobs. Look at Black Cat up there.
Wow.
Ben, hey, let's we did a podcast here.
Yeah, sorry. So, what this series actually does is it kind of peels back a lot of those weird superheroes and kind of brings it down to a core few.
Right.
And Almost Got Him is one of the episodes I chose for you because you see the core villains of the Batman animated series. There's Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
There's Oswald Cobblepot, or the Penguin. There's the Joker. There's Two-Face. And there's Killer Croc.
And Harley Quinn a little bit.
Harley Quinn, yeah, she pops up. And it's a great episode because it tells the stories of different villains and how they try to take out the Bat.
Yeah.
But what I really love about that is how much it focuses on their individual style in each case. So the Joker's one is very maniacal, death trappy. Two-Face's one is very obsessed with justice. Poison Ivy's is all about her character. It's eco. And Killer Croc is completely manpower based. Like there's no brains, there's nothing like that. It's completely manpower based.
Well, Killer Croc turns out to be Batman.
Yeah, Killer Croc doesn't know. There's a statute of limitations. We're well past.
Yeah, full spoilers. 1996.
He's been fooling the whole time, and he's actually sitting at the table listening to the stories, and it's like an undercover sting. I guess.
Classic
that
Batman.
way. And I really liked it. Then there are other episodes that I recommended to you that are completely focused on him as well. For example, The Man Who Killed Batman is all about a world without Batman. He's dead for the episode.
It's about the world that they live in.
Yes.
There are very few cartoons that do that.
So it builds up Gotham more than it builds up Batman.
Yeah.
And then the other ones that I gave you were Heart of Ice, where Mr.
Which
Freeze.
I didn't watch.
Okay, you didn't watch Mr. Freeze. You didn't watch Heart of Ice, which is where Mr. Freeze was introduced, and he is he just has this huge amount of character development in the show. No, we completely lose that. He's quite Shakespearean in his
Freeze.
Arnold Schwarzenegger did not voice him in the animated series. It would have been kind of funny if he did, though. Yeah, so he actually has way more character development than Batman in that. And Mad Love is all about the tragedy of Harley Quinn.
And I think I had seen that as a kid.
You probably had.
Because when I later encountered Harley Quinn, like in my 20s maybe, I had a memory of seeing her in live action.
Huh.
But I obviously got some sort of weird confusion. I think I'd seen that episode as a kid and then thought that had happened in the Batman 1989 movie.
Oh.
I think the two of them combined together. So then when I heard there was going to be a live action Harley Quinn, I was like, no, that's happened already.
Wow.
Yeah. That's nothing to do with anything. That's just a weird personal
that's okay.
story.
Personal anecdote.
I'll tell you what though. Margot Robbie was a great choice.
She was a great Harley Quinn.
Having watched that cartoon, she's quite sexy, Harley Quinn, as a cartoon.
She's Batman Arkham Asylum, the video game. Harley Quinn
is probably sexier.
She's very hypersexualized.
But I mean, there's some weird shit going on with Joker. It's weird. That's a weird abusive relationship. She gets slapped around and she still loves him. That's going to fuck up a lot of young girls' minds, Ben. Against it.
Did you read my essay on that? I wrote an essay on that. I'm not going to link it below because that seems very self-serving. But you can find it. It's out there. I did a whole essay on the toxic relationship model that they show.
He's a bit depressed because Batman beat him. Right?
Yeah.
And then she comes in a negligee, in a cartoon, and we see Joker through her spread legs, and she's trying to seduce him, and he pushes her off a table, and then she comes back, and he backhands her.
Yeah. Not before she hits out the wonderful line that's very fitted to a kid show, which is, "Come on, Mr. J, don't you want to rev your Harley?"
Amazing.
And it's
she's
just like
on the table on her hands and knees going, whoa.
Joker is a man of discipline, though.
And then
he does not want to rev a Harley.
And she spends the whole episode trying to make him love her. And then he throws her out of oh, no, I can swear.
No.
He throws her out a fucking window. throws her out a fucking window. And then sends her a bottle of wine or something, and she's fine.
And she's fine because she's fucked up in the head.
That's some weird shit.
He does. Paul Dini did defend this choice, and he showed it's now been completely separated. By the way, Harley Quinn has had a catharsis in the comics, where she and the Joker almost fall into that again, and she beats the living shit out of him and moves away from that.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
And Poison Ivy has really helped. No, but it's just funny because DC is now distancing themselves big time from that relationship model.
But that's the relationship they had in Suicide Squad.
Paul well,
so high-pitched.
I think David Ayer kind of doesn't really understand that comics have moved on. He's a real dick. I hate David Ayer. Training Day was so good. Why couldn't you do something like that with the Suicide Squad? I just didn't. Anyway, I'm not getting into Suicide Squad.
Also, speaking of Suicide Squad, Killer Croc is a real punching bag in this cartoon.
He is. Not as racist as Suicide Squad's Killer Croc, though.
No.
What do you want to go back to prison? BET and chicken wings.
Yeah,
ooh,
that's pretty bad.
Ooh.
But yeah, he's a real punching bag.
Yeah.
But it's like
he's a punchline. That's what he is.
And like, he gets beaten up by Batman. He gets beaten up by Bane.
That actually happened in the 1980s in Nightfall.
Yeah.
Bane breaks him.
But yeah, isn't it the whole thing of like Killer Croc? Until they needed a monster, he was just a kind of guy with a skin condition.
He was a guy with a skin condition that gave him mildly enhanced strength. He was stronger than your average. But Jeff Loeb kind of rewrote him for the Hush storyline, and he became... It was actually degenerative. It turned him more into an animal than a man.
The lizard.
And he became amphibious.
He became the lizard from Spider-Man.
Yeah, he became the lizard from Spider-Man. He did look very like the lizard from Spider-Man, actually. Wore a big trench coat everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on from there, but what I wanted to focus on there was the villains are really given a lot of screen time. And the best thing about Batman has always been his rogues gallery. It's kind of similar to Spider-Man, I think. People like the different villains that pop up as they come along. Mm-hmm. We like to see them because they're very colourful and they're usually quite varied in what they are.
I think the only DC character who has better villains is Green Lantern.
I don't know that many of his villains. I know the different coloured lanterns. I know Atrocitus and I know...
Yeah, there's Sinestro.
Sinestro's amazing.
There's his evil brother Greg Lantern.
Is that the dead guy?
No, I've made him up.
Oh, you've made him up.
It was a bit.
It's a bit.
What I was getting at was that Green Lantern doesn't have. No,
I only know one, which is Sinestro, and I know Atrocitus, but that's because I'm a nerd who reads comics.
And Atrocitus' cat.
Atrocitus' cat, which is Jinx.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that what he's? No, that's Clarion the Witch Boy's cat. No, it's Treacle. Why do I know the names of so many cats?
Ed Sheeran.
Who is our podcast cat, who is evil.
Yeah.
Don't tell Katie I said that. Anyway, what this does when you see the villains is what you don't actually realise you're getting every time you see them in Almost Got Them or they mention a story with Batman. You're building your own version of Batman in your head through their lens. That's what I really like about Almost Got Him. Each one perceives Batman slightly differently. For some, he's like a goal. For the Joker, he's a goal to conquer. For Poison Ivy, he's a hindrance. For Two-Face, he's kind of this sick, ideal version of what Two-Face could have been, and it drives him mad. You know what I mean? And then in The Man Who Killed Batman, you get to see what the city is, or what he is to the city. Like, the whole city falls apart when he dies. Even the villains can't figure out what's happening. Like, the whole city collapses when Batman doesn't function, and it leads to that really interesting question of, if Batman wasn't around, would Gotham be as bad as it was? Which I really love as a question, even though I love Batman. It's a really interesting question. Would Gotham be the criminal utopia that it is if Batman wasn't around? Is he the catalyst for all this weird behaviour? Because he creates a lot of his own villains.
Avengers kind of stole that notion for Avengers 2, for Age of Ultron.
Yeah, well, I think it became a popular theme based on... I'm not going to say definitely based on this series, but it is a key episode in a lot of writers' careers. They mentioned this episode where...
Sid the Squid
is this ridiculous throwaway character who causes absolute chaos in Gotham City through an accident. It's really interesting. In Mad Love, you get to see how cruel Batman can be, because he makes fun of Harley. Like, he's
a real dickhead.
He's a real dick to Harley.
He's like,
by the end he laughs.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get out of this situation you have me in by calling you your abusive boyfriend, because I know he'll show up and be an even bigger dickhead.
It's kind of messed up. But also you see how afraid people can be of him, because when he laughs she is actually terrified. She doesn't understand why he's laughing, and you get to see more of this character. In Heart of Ice, you get to see his compassion, because he feels for Mr. Freeze.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't watch that one.
And everything. No, it's really well done. Like for a 90s cartoon, it's really well done. And then, of course, we have the amazing Mask of the Phantasm, which you watched. Okay, you don't think it's amazing. I'm in love with Batman. I can't help it. I am a complete fanboy about this, and you are welcome in comments or whatever to have a go at me. I don't mind. I will cry a little bit.
Here's my issue with Mask of the Phantasm. Spoilers. 1999.
It's well outside.
Look, that dude is definitely a dude, and then he takes off his mask, and his entire body shape changes. That is not fair. That is not a fair twist.
Yeah, the Phantasm does change body shape after the mask reveal. That
is not fair. That is an unfair twist.
That's fair.
And there is only one other new character introduced who it could possibly have been. So if you're paying any sort of attention, it's definitely... I've forgotten her name.
Red hair.
Red hair lady.
It's not
Renee
important.
Montoya.
She's not important.
Yeah.
She is an old flame of Batman's, and it delves into his early history as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And what I think is amazing about it is it shows kind of the psychological weight that it puts on him. He has this amazing scene in a graveyard where he says, "I never planned for this," and what he never planned for was being in love or being happy.
With the Phantasm.
Well, he doesn't know she's the Phantasm at the time.
Yeah.
It's Andrea
Romanoff.
It's not Romanoff. Andrea Roman. Get out of here. It's Black Widow's sister.
I can't remember the name. I watched it today.
Is it Andrea? I think it's Andrea.
Oh Christ!
Is it Andrea? No, we're not checking it again. We're nearly out of time.
I'm going to accidentally play the
theme. And the final thing that I really love about Batman the Animated Series is how it shaped everything that came after it.
Go on.
Much of the Batman aesthetic.
Andrea Beaumont.
Was close enough. I got the first name. His Justice League incarnation and his Batman the Animated Series incarnation is the one that has shaped most of his cartoon and video game adaptations since.
For sure, it's the same actor.
Following the Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are the definitive Joker and Batman. Mm-hmm. I think everybody kind of pictures them as the definitive.
In the thing, in the episode, I think it's Mad Love. They kidnap Jim Gordon. He's pretending to be a dentist.
Yeah,
and Harley's a very sexy dental nurse.
She is.
It's some uncomfortable few minutes there. Anyway, and then he throws a grenade at them, and as he throws a grenade at them, he says, "May the floss be with you."
Oh, that's excellent. It's such a throwaway joke.
While he's throwing the grenade. But, I mean, if you don't know that he's the guy from Star Wars, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah, what a weird...
Why would you make a Star Wars joke while throwing a grenade dressed as a dentist?
I actually think that Mark Hamill was a better Joker than he ever was a Jedi.
Oh.
I don't mind. I'll say that
he's
several times. He's pretty goddamn good. I don't know if you've ever played the Arkham games, have you?
I have.
They're awesome. Like, they're really good. But Paul Dini from this wrote those. So he's considered to be quite definitive in shaping Batman now. But the Justice League versions of them were all part of the Batman animated series, and they got carried on. Like, the Joker didn't change that much when they needed a new villain and stuff like that. So I just like how he shaped everything. There was a really cool run called Batman Detective Comics, and Paul Dini wrote a lot of those, and they're really good as well. Anyway.
So are you saying it's your definitive Batman?
It is my definitive Batman. That's the Batman that I grew up watching on Saturday mornings.
In the way that the 1990s X-Men are my definitive X-Men.
Strange definitive X-Men, but I understand.
No, they're the definitive X-Men.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, that's what I think of Batman the Animated Series. What do you think of Batman the Animated Series?
It's alright. That was a...
No, it was for the listeners, but what do you think, Michael?
It's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. It does the job.
It didn't speak to me as a teenager. It was a bit too slow. It was a bit too considered. That's not what I wanted as a teen.
I like slow and considered.
There are scenes where someone is stirring their coffee threateningly, and you can hear a clock ticking in the background.
You see, the thing is, you
can hear the bone-on-bone china going...
I think that's awesome. I just think that's so awesome.
Somebody punch someone.
You see, I grew up with noir movies, so that kind of thing really... I didn't grow up in the era of noir movies, by the way. I'm not an immortal vampire. I was raised with
Benjamin's from
movies.
The 1920s.
Yeah. I used to know this real town, see? I used to spend time with dames and broads, see? Yeah, but I didn't. Anyway, that's what I thought. Do get in touch with us on Twitter.
Do.
Try and get in touch with us on Facebook if you don't feel like using Twitter.
Podcast.
If you're very, very modern and part of the millennium generation, Instagram is always an option. Tell us what you think. Who's your favourite Batman the Animated Series villain?
Catwoman.
I'm a Joker fan through and through. Didn't really care for Scarecrow. But anyway, do let us know.
Yeah.
Anything else to add there, Michael? Any recommendations for the week?
Look, watch those episodes.
Yeah, that was a good list. It's a solid list of things to have a look at.
I don't know. Maybe go find a top 10. We're not a top 10 podcast. Find a top 10 and give them a watch.
Yeah.
Roll your eyeballs over them. It's very entertaining.
When you're telling your children about the wonderful series you discovered, remember to say that it was Michael and Benjamin's podcast that did it.
Yeah, and then go watch Justice League Unlimited, which is much better.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's it.
Yeah, that's about it. Bye.
Bye.